Everyone thinks the Fool is stupid, naive, careless, reckless optimism. But people who say that usually haven't had to build their life from scratch. Because when you have survived trauma, starting over isn't naive. It's terrifying. And choosing to move forward anyways, that's one of the most radical acts of courage in the entire tarot. Let's talk about it. The Fool card is 0, not the beginning. The space before the beginning. In the classic Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck, the artist Pamela Coleman Smith illustrated a traveler stepping towards a cliff. A little bag, a white rose, and a small dog barking at their heels. Most people look at this image and they think, wow, they're gonna make a mistake. But trauma survivors look at this and see something entirely different. Someone who has already lost enough that fear doesn't get the final vote. When you grow up in instability, chaos, or control, you don't get to be the Fool. You get trained to be careful, hyper-aware, hyper-responsible, always calculating the consequences. Your nervous system becomes a risk assessment machine, which means starting something new can feel impossible. New relationships, new identities, new creative paths, because your body says, last time we trusted something, it hurt. The Fool is the moment you say, I know the risk, and I'm walking anyway. And there's something deeply queer about this card. The Fool exists outside the rules of the village, outside expectation, outside tradition. They're not following the path that was laid out. They're making their own. For a lot of queer people, this card is not theoretical. Coming out is a Fool moment. Leaving that life behind that never felt right. Fool moment. Starting over when the world tells you it's too late. Fool moment. The Fool isn't reckless. The Fool is liberated from the scripts that never belonged to them. But there is a shadow. The shadow of the Fool is spiritual bypassing. Everything happens for a reason. Trust the universe. Good vibes only. That's not the Fool. That's denial. The Fool doesn't ignore danger. The Fool simply doesn't let fear dictate the rest of their life. There's a difference. And here's something that you won't find in the tarot books. Sometimes the Fool is born from sacred rage. That rage that says, I refuse to keep living a life that is slowly killing me. That kind of anger becomes fuel. It pushes you off the edge of the life that you were supposed to live and into the unknown of something that is yours. So here is the real question that this card asks. Where in your life are you waiting until you feel safe enough to step off that cliff? And what if safety isn't the requirement? What if courage is? The Fool isn't about falling off the cliff. It's about trusting that you are capable enough to land. Every authentic life begins with a moment where you look a little foolish to everyone else, but you feel free to yourself. If this changed the way you see the Fool, hit like and subscribe. It'll tell the algorithm that this kind of deeper tarot content is meaningful. And if you want to explore your own Fool moment, the places in your life that are asking for courage and not control, you can book a session with me through my website. The link is in the description. And I'll see you next Tarot Tuesday.